Okay, hi. We are on the last section of chapter 4 today. It is 4.7, and it is about taking higher order derivatives. So 4.7, higher order derivatives. Okay, so there's some notation that we need to talk about first. And you have always seen the derivative as f prime of x. But there's other notation that can be used for that. So, and it may be used in varsity. I'm not exactly sure. I'm pretty certain that they use the first one that I'll put on there, but you should be familiar with the other one as well. So the first derivative, which is the one that we've been doing, is known as f prime of x, but it's also known as dy over dx. And I haven't used that notation. This one is the much more common one. You see this a lot in textbooks, the dy over dx, but it's correct. So you should be aware of what that looks like. Okay, the second derivative is f double prime of x, or it looks like d squared y over dx squared. Okay, these kind of go down. Third derivative is f triple prime of x, or, sorry, that looks like an of there, or d third d cubed y over dx cubed. And then once you get to the fourth or higher, they just put them like this. So the nth derivative is literally fourth or more, is going to look like f to the n of x, or dny over dx to the n. Okay, so you're not going to put like 5 prime marks up here. You would just literally put f to the 5 of x. That would be the fifth derivative. Okay, or the fourth derivative would be f to the fourth of x. You literally put the number up there. But for the first, second, or third, you put those little prime marks. Okay, for the first, second, and thirds. All right, so these are actually maybe exactly what you might think. So let's go and take a look. All right, so here is example number 1. Find the second derivative. Derivative of, sorry, I had a blank out there. Y equals 4x cubed plus 3x squared plus 2. All right, well, we're going to take the first derivative. So find f prime. And that is going to be 12x to the second plus 6x. This should be easy for you by now. Should be easy. Okay, if it's not, we have some practice we got to do. You should see me. I can get you some extra problems. Okay, now all you're going to do is use f prime of x to find f double prime. Okay, so we're going to take the derivative of this. So we're going to bring this down and multiply those together. So 24x plus 6, right? This would just be a 6. And so f double prime is equal to that. Okay, that was easy enough, right? Okay, I don't know if I have enough room on my screen for this next one. I'm going to try to make enough room on my screen for the next one. It's kind of long, but it's just the same type of idea. It's just longer. All right. And then I'm going to do one where you are asked to do something else. Okay. So find, this is another example. Find the fourth derivative of y equals x to the eighth minus 2x to the fifth plus x to the fourth plus 2x squared minus 4x plus 20. Okay, well, we're just going to go down the line, and I already have these on another piece of paper. So if you aren't sure where these numbers are coming from, you can multiply them out on your own somewhere. But I'm going to go f prime of x is equal to, I'm just going to bring these down and multiply by the coefficient and drop a power off of there as I go. So this is going to be 8x to the seventh minus 10x to the fourth plus 4x to the third plus 4x minus 4. And remember, a constant, you're never going to have a derivative of a constant. Okay, so now I'm going to take f double prime. How many of these do I have? So 1, 2, 3. Okay, I can spread these out a little bit. F double prime of x. I'm going to use this one right here to do my next one. So I'm going to multiply these together, drop another power. So 56 x to the sixth minus 40 x to the third. I hate when it does that with that box. Plus 12x squared plus 4. Okay, make that go away. Can I make that go away? There. All right, next one. Let's get red. We'll go f triple prime of x. Now, these, like I said, I already have these multiplied out. So I know that 6 times 56 is 336. X to the fifth minus 3 times 40 is 120. X to the second plus 24x. And this one's gone. And then lastly, I have f to the fourth of x. 5 times 336 is 1680. X to the fourth minus 120 times 2 is 240 plus 24. And this is what we were looking for. Okay, so you're just going to keep dropping those things down, multiplying powers. But remember, you miss one sign, you miss one number, the whole thing's wrong, and you don't really know why. So you have to go back and really be very careful about looking at your multiplication. Okay, we're going to do one more example, and then that'll be the end of these notes. Okay, so this example says if f of x equals 2x squared plus 1 times 4x minus 3. Find the value or values. Oh, brother. Hopefully nobody's coming up my driveway or my dogs are going to explode, and I can't edit that out of my videos, so hopefully that doesn't happen. Values of x, where f double prime of x equals 0. Okay, well, in order to find where f double prime of x equals 0, we have to find f double prime of x. So, first of all, notice that this is a product rule. So we're going to let u of x be 2x squared plus 1, and we're going to let v of x be 4x minus 3. I guess those parentheses aren't really necessary over here. And then u prime of x is going to be 4x, and v prime of x is going to be 4. And then f prime is going to be We're going to multiply these two together. 4x times 4x minus 3 plus these two. 4 times 2x squared plus 1. So I'm going to get 16x squared minus 12x plus 8x squared plus 4. And what are we going to get here? 24x squared minus 12x plus 4. So that's f prime. Now we need f double prime. That'll be easier. I'm going to multiply these two together. 24 and 24 is 48x minus 12. So this is f double prime. Now the directions say find where f double prime of x equals 0. So we're going to set this equal to 0, right? So 48x minus 12 equals 0 and solve. So we're going to add a 12, add a 12. So 48x equals 12. Divide by 48, divide by 48, and we get x equals, make sure you reduce this, right? So this is going to be a 1/4. And there's only one value. For some of these, you're going to come up with two answers, right? If this might be a quadratic and you have to solve the quadratic, and you're going to get two things. So if that happens, let's say, this is not this problem, but let's say you get x equals 1/2 and x equals 3. Put those into varsity unless there's two boxes. But if there's only one box, put those into varsity just with a comma. It doesn't matter what order. I like to put the smaller one in first and then the bigger one with a comma. So it will already say this, x equals, and then you just put them both in. Okay? But that's the idea. You got to find both of those derivatives. Once you find the derivative that you need, in this case, f double prime, you take f double prime, set it equal to 0, and then solve the equation. Okay? But these are actually really straightforward and nice and easy to do. All right, so that's it. Toodaloo for now. We're all done with chapter 4, by the way. A couple more chapters and we're done with the class. Post test to follow after this chapter test.